Hey there, welcome back to The Daily, and welcome to our brand new month. Welcome to August, brand new month, brand new theme here at The Daily, brand new haircut, finally. Took a minute. So really excited to be back here with you to open up this theme of the month, which is generosity. And I personally am so excited for this theme of the month because it feels really rich, really juicy. There's a lot to explore in this theme of generosity. How generosity intersects with our meditation practice, how our meditation practice can inform the way that we think about generosity, what it means to take generosity off of the cushion and into our lives, and why it matters, which, is always kind of the central question, which is like, why bother? Why bother being generous? So there's really a lot to explore in this topic, which I'm very excited about. Very excited to see what our contributing teachers bring to the conversation, of course, as always. But for today's practice, just to open us up, I always find it really helpful in this topic of generosity to remember that generosity has two sides to it. There's two sides to the same coin. And the first side is the side that we pretty typically tend to think of as being generous, which is giving to others, giving what we have in the spirit of generosity, offering out. And it could be offering, our time, our attention, our goodwill. It could be offering, something physical that we have that would be helpful to another. And then there's the other side of generosity, which I think is a lot less emphasized, equally as important, which is receiving. So both sides of generosity, if you are anything like me, you probably find one side of generosity a lot more natural, maybe a lot more practiced or a lot more habitual than the other side. And just in walking into this theme of the month, I really want to encourage us right off the bat to know what side of generosity actually feels more comfortable for us, and to see if this month we can stretch both our understanding and our practice of generosity to include more of the side of generosity, whether it be giving to others or receiving as an act of generosity, to veer a little bit more on the side that maybe we don't find as natural or we don't find as comfortable, because of course that is our edge of practice. So in today's practice, we're going to do a little bit of a twist on loving kindness practice, but this time really kind of taking stock of the generosity that we ourselves have received from others. So I could be completely off on this, but I have a very strong hunch that if you are here, sitting here today as a fully formed human being, it's probably because of the generosity that you have received from other people, right? Nobody is an island. Nobody does it alone, especially little defenseless babies. We don't kind of grow up into like fully functioning adults without a lot of time and care and generosity from others. And sometimes I think that generosity can come in forms that, maybe at first didn't necessarily seem like a generous gift, but in retrospect, we can see have helped us to develop along the way. So we're going to do a little bit of a twist on loving kindness practice. For today's practice, really taking stock of everything that we have received up to this point. So wherever you happen to be, taking a moment to decide on your seat, really just making sure that our body feels sturdy, sustainable, that yes, indeed, this is where we want to be for the next 20 minutes or so. And then once we've found our seat, it's taking a moment to locate our gaze. So eyes open, eyes closed, whatever feels natural to you today. And we'll take just a few moments here, as always, to open our practice by opening our senses, really receiving this visceral information from the space that we're in. So first and foremost, shifting the attention over to sound. Just receiving the sound of the space that we're in. And staying open to sound. Shifting the attention to touch. So taking a few moments to really center ourselves in our bodies. Feeling the shape that the body makes. And all of those tiny points of pressure where the body makes contact. Taking in the temperature of the air in the room. Texture of clothing against our skin. And dropping into our feet. Temperature, texture, feeling where the feet make contact. Tracing the attention across the shin bones. Circling the kneecaps. Grazing through the thighs. And landing in the hips. Feeling where the sit bones meet the cushion, the chair. Moving the attention to the belly, the chest. Just dropping into the sensation of body breathing. So feeling the way the breath moves in the body today. Tip of the nose, back of the throat, belly. And then wherever, however, the breath is most available in the body, most easily felt. It's dropping our anchor of attention here, home base, the place that we return to. And we'll take just a moment together to give our minds a chance to stabilize, our bodies a chance to settle by working with that singular instruction that as our minds wander, which they naturally will, we're just noticing when we've left our breathing, acknowledging what captures our attention, and then gently, firmly back to the breath in the body. And then if we haven't already, maybe just letting the eyes gently shut and shifting our practice over to contemplation. Taking a moment right off the top here to bring to mind somebody whom for us has contributed to our success or our survival up to this point. Somebody who has contributed to our success or survival. And while there's likely a multitude of people who spring to mind, just taking a moment to locate who springs to mind most easily, who feels obvious. Their generosity is palpable, what they've given us in our lives thus far. And without overthinking it, once we've located someone who has contributed to our success or survival, in our mind's eye, just inviting them to sit down in front of us and watching them take their seat. Maybe noticing any distinguishing quirks or facial features, the way that they hold their body. It's taking a few moments to rest in their presence, getting a sense of what it's like to be with this one who has so obviously contributed. And then once we feel we've developed a real connection with them, it's taking a moment to offer them these phrases. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And continuing to connect with this person. It's watching them soak in this moment of gratitude, this moment of recognition. And then thanking them for coming, for having contributed to your life. And allowing their image to dissolve. And then taking a moment to bring to mind somebody in our world whom is relatively easy to overlook, that may have offered us a recent kindness. Nothing grand, nothing spectacular. It could be a kind word, a smile. Maybe somebody who was particularly helpful on a day when we needed it. It could be somebody who was on technical support or a cashier at the grocery store who greeted us in a sincere and friendly manner. Maybe a delivery person who brought us food in the middle of a pandemic. Relatively easy to overlook, but a simple kindness nonetheless. And again, without overthinking it, once we've located someone who has offered us a bit of generosity, taking a moment to invite them to sit down in front of us And just watching them take their seat. To the best of our ability, noticing any distinguishing features, the way that they hold their body. And taking a moment to really connect with their humanity, whatever kindness they shared. And then offering them these phrases. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Continuing to connect, watching them soak in this recognition, this gratitude, and allowing their image to dissolve. And then bringing to mind somebody in our world whom offered us a gift, a lesson, something that in retrospect was generous, but not necessarily wanted, not necessarily asked for. It could be somebody who offered us a very hard lesson in life. Maybe someone who broke our heart in retrospect for the best. Someone whose generosity or gift was not necessarily received well, but in retrospect feels like a blessing. And again, without overthinking it, once we've located this person of hard lessons, inviting them to sit down in front of us and watching them take their seat, noticing any distinguishing features, the way that they hold their body, and just taking a moment here to connect with them and what it is that you've received. And then offering them these phrases. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And continuing to connect and watching them soak in these wishes of recognition, of gratitude. And then allowing their image to dissolve. And then bringing our attention back to the breath in the body. And giving ourselves perhaps a few deep inhales and deep exhales here. It's reconnecting to the body breathing. And as you're ready, just allowing formal practice to drop and coming back in together at your own pace, no rush. Great. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, very excited for this month. Very excited for the practices ahead. I hope that you have a beautiful first day of August. And we will see you right back here on the cushion tomorrow.